I woke up this morning feeling shit, grumpy, uh, shit in my body. Yeah, I got regimented with it. I did what I do, and I motioned towards the little space that I do yoga. Had a stretch, had a breathe, boiled the kettle, sat down. Quick story. Tried to meditate. Did okay. Still feeling grumpy though. Still feeling like it's Wednesday morning and the day felt pretty mundane. Felt like a fair few things on the to do list. Felt quite honestly just near impossible to actually access that heart space, enthusiasm, any kind of vitality, any kind of light. Like I looked around and saw all these markers for what could be positive, but they didn't feel that positive. I felt like just another reflection of things that I couldn't be positive about. Yeah, to be honest, I find it hard to imagine what it'd be like to do that every single day for days and weeks and months, etc. On end. I work with people with depression all the time, anxiety more often, but yeah, this was borderline both, where my mind was already starting to flick around towards all the things that I was worried about. I am worried about, but if I'm feeling positive or okay, my mind doesn't go there, but there I am just laden with these anxious thoughts: financial insecurity. Do I have enough time? How do I get this done? How do I be better at this? How do I make sure I streamline that? How do I stay on top of that? How do I tread water for long enough to do this, to be that, to evolve into whatever it may be? Um, and then depression, not so much being a energetic deserting of my physical being, but just not having the energy to be able to meet those questions. My anxiety is taking up all the energy, and coming into that space, it's just tiredness. My brain switched off. So, okay, it wasn't for days or weeks. It was for all of about 35 minutes at this point. At which time I was like, "Fuck, this is kind of gnarly. This is heavy." It's obviously not the first time. It's the squillionth time that I felt that way. Usually, historically, I wouldn't have even said it out loud. I'd just hopefully be alone enough to be able to deny enough the reality of feeling shit. And yeah, end of story. Reflection free. How good's that? But there's things to be found. I believe in self accountability, honoring, being honest, authenticity. And when my partner woke up and I'm looking at her through negative eyes, going, okay, this isn't the best version of myself, saying good morning to you with your bubbly, beautiful smile and everything that I can see as the indicators of everything that I'm not right now. And yeah, I said pretty much that I'm feeling shit. And I choose not to try and find an explanation. I'm probably pretty sure I can't find one, not one that's really super reasonable. And I came into my meditation. End of story is that I found a complete philosophical turnaround that seemed to come into my body, and began a starting point that allowed me to feel more positive. Not completely, it was just a gradual thing. And to be honest, it took about 4 or 5 hours before, close to maybe an hour ago, they started feeling better. I started to feel into what it is to have faith, to have trust, that the day is going to be okay and that I can release myself of these concerns. And philosophically, there's not enough foundation to my ideology that supports me. Intuition doesn't serve me well enough. Like, I'll fall back to intuition more often than not and say, okay, well, hang on. Like, if I just rely on my instincts and my intuition and move through the day in flow, she's all good. this day should be cool. I should be taken care of, or the universe will provide, or I can be free from my worries because they're just concerns of future projections that don't relate to the present. If I meditate and just be right here and right now, but right here and right now, my thoughts were negative, and I didn't want to be right there and right in that time and space. I thought a little bit more about faith, or a little bit more about what it is to trust in something that might provide a sense of security and alleviation of my worries. And I looked out, and it's light and golden, actually, and I can see heaps of trees, and it's pretty fucking beautiful. But I'm still wearing the clouded lenses of misconception or of negative perception, and it doesn't look that great. But then I feel into what something, just this one line popped into my head that was shared by a new friend, and he's actually found God, and I was God with a capital G, I think. And I'm not like I'm kind of atheism um, turns to agnostic with capital A's, to moving down the alphabet towards B as a Buddhist, and all these labels, right? And God, so far down the alphabet, is far from any of the labels that I use with capitals, that's for sure. Anyway, long story short, my friend is just like, man, I've just got this total different way of being right now, and it's changed completely. And call it what you want, but what I know, and this is after a while of our conversations, what I know is all I have to do is follow. I was like, follow. And I know what he's saying, and it's something that I resonate with inherently and instinctively, but I hadn't actually thought about the notion of following, certainly not following God, because every instinct within me historically is just stood up against anything so potentially representative of all the negative labels that I've put against Christianity historically, for all the negative experiences that I've had. And with a really, really open mind and really open heart, I've tried to dismiss every one of them. And here I am dismissing my negative notions of what it is to follow God. And I hear the words to follow, and I'm just like, follow what? And I'm looking outside, and I'm following the light into what it represents. And the following the light, I'm like, wow, okay, like I'm feeling lighter. I'm following that as a guidance, because my intuition, my instincts don't feel like they're guidance enough. I don't feel like I can rely on them enough. But if I start to follow my version of God, which is the love, the light, the just radically pure, compassionate state of being, there's something there, and it's represented with light, golden light nonetheless, and nature. And if I find myself giving myself permission to follow that, to be guided by that, well, what I found this morning is that everything turned around for me, and that I knew which direction to go. So I followed that light down the river and out the river mouth, and had a little surf with a complete gratitude of this incredible life experience that I get to entertain, and just immerse myself in, of this plentitude, this bounty, this abundance, natural paradise, moving with water, riding her waves, dancing with them as a surfer. Wow, super cool. Negative headsets, still really good at being able to create negative stories about that. It was too crowded, too small, too shitty, not enough waves, bad vibes, cloudy, cold, shark attacks. I shouldn't laugh, obviously. So all of that stuff aside, this was not such a negative experience. I was feeling like I was following the light and my heart. And then I'm still feeling kind of negative, though, like not completely positive. And then I came back, and I had some work to do, and the work to do, I put it off a little bit. I didn't actually just jump straight into the early start, get things done routine. I just gave myself a bit of slack in following my sense for where the light was taking me. And I felt like working. So I started to do some work, and I had a couple of client sessions, and I was like, whoa, that felt great. And before I knew it, I felt super positive as a transitionary process. And I found the light in the process, effectively, of giving what I'd developed already in that semblance of transformation towards positivity. I was able to give that and amplify it with wisdom, effectively, and my loving, compassionate heart to my clients, and go, wow, okay, here you go. And yeah, of course, I received that as well. What's the story about? It's about following the light, and call it your instincts, but sometimes it's easier to be able to get even more big picture on it and just go, okay, well, hang on. Maybe there is an instinct for wherever your eyes, wherever your essence, wherever your senses land in such a way that you're able to say, okay, that feels like a calling in that direction, without necessarily finding yourself knowing what that direction means, but just knowing that there's an essence that guides you as a favorable instinct or a favorable sense for what looks and feels, what experiences positively. And that generates positivity. To follow in that way is a totally different way of being. It's not strategic, it's receptive. It's not preemptive. It's not proactive, even necessarily. It's not. It's not pre. It's not preemptively creating a future that hasn't happened through fear and anxiety and insecurity. It's pretty rad, super cool. I don't care if it's God with a capital G, Buddha with a capital B. I don't care if it's atheism, agnostic. I don't care if there's a religion tied to it whatsoever. This is a biological, biophysical, biochemical body, mind, and spirit game that I think as long as we can let go of the premise that we're not individually completely self-contained, that we are somehow beyond comprehension connected beyond ourselves, as if we're not. Let's just use the premise that one, our thoughts are connected to other thoughts, whether we contain them all in our own self paradigm of just thoughts that relate to us and nothing else. Sure, we can argue that. Let's actually go beyond the physical energy. My energy definitely feels like it's connected beyond the self orientation of this body, this this little earth body that is here. Maybe all alone, but it feels like it's influenced by other things: temperature, atmosphere, environment, others, the cosmos, astrology, the stars, the planets, the weather, etc., etc. What about emotions? I definitely feel pretty interconnected beyond self. I don't feel like all my emotions are completely influenced from nothing else but my personal experience. I feel like there's others, and obviously there's different ways of approaching this, but in taking this path, I allow myself to give myself to follow the influence, the confluence of factors that influence me in a way that, if I'm able to develop the clarity as to whether it's good or bad, positive or negative, something I want to lean into or lean out of, I can then trust that there is inherent merit in following or not. And if I can learn to practice that, if we can learn to practice what it is to follow something bigger than us from the instincts of whether or not it calls us or otherwise, I feel like we're a long way towards letting go of our anxieties and our fears and starting to lead from our heart